the EPA was already gutted by the Trump administration, but now it's gotten worse. The Intercept reports, as a result of a new EPA rule, an estimated 60 to 90% of U.S. waterways could lose federal protections that currently shield them from pollution and development. They're literally going after the Clean Water Act. I mean, come on. Come on. Oh. This is one of those stories where I'm inclined to say, all right, here's your real scandal. Go, media, go. But my guess is they're not going to talk about this in the way that they should, where this deserves the 24-hour hair on fire coverage. Like, oh my God, they're trying to gut the clean water rule. So under the rule, streams that are dependent on rainfall and wetlands not physically connected to year-round waterways will no longer be covered by the Clean Water Act. And so what they say is this will impact Alaska and arid areas in the West. And basically what you have now is a license to pollute in a hell of a lot of waterways around the country. That's what this is. And people forget. We oftentimes, when we advance in certain areas, we begin to like naively think like, oh, this is just how it always was and it's never going to change. But no, guys, in 1969, people forget that in Ohio, the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. And that was widely viewed as one of the main things that led the country to say, damn, like we don't have a choice. We really got to get our act together. This is terrible, like insane pollution we're dealing with. And the water is fucking so dirty, it caught on fire. I mean, chemicals in there and all types of bullshit. And so we had this success of the EPA actually, protecting the environment, doing their basic function. But now they're saying, let's go back in the other direction. Now, why? Why would they do this? Because you hear this all the time. It's one of Sean Hannity's favorite talking points. He loves to say, these Democrats will have you believe that Republicans don't want clean water. Of course we want clean water. Who doesn't want clean water? To which your response should be, it's not that you don't want clean water. It's that is a consequence of the corruption in your party where you're bought by special interests who want to pollute the water. Now, they want to pollute the water not because they don't like clean water, but it's out of convenience. It's out of convenience. Oh, it's easier to just dump our fucking leftover chemicals or paint, whatever it might be, in the nearby waterway. It saves us on transportation costs. I mean, this was one of the famous things about how the Hudson River got massively polluted. It involved General Electric and being right on the Hudson River, and then they just pollute it. Fuck it, dump it. We're not going to spend the money to transfer, some chemical waste we have. Just dump it right in the water. See, it's what happens when you don't have regulations. This is why the libertarian anarcho-capitalist philosophy is honestly comical when it comes to the economy, because they just assume, like, everybody wants to do the right thing. No, if we have corporations, by design, they want to make a profit. And sometimes the way to make a profit and make the most money is to do the wrong thing and to cut corners. And now we're at a place where the government is totally bought and owned by these special interests and is such a friend of industry. They're like, yeah, the Clean Water Act, not a fan, because it burdensome regulations on these companies. So what do we have to do? We'll just scrap certain parts of the rule. And this was Trump. This is coming a week or two after Trump said in an interview, "We're at a record clean. We're at a record clean in this country. We're record clean." Now, this is happening. So they're destroying the Clean Water Act, and then you also have this. Time says EPA eases rule on coal industry despite climate change warnings. So listen, the whole point of a Republican administration is we don't believe that these government agencies should exist, so effectively eliminate them. Handcuff them to the point where they're irrelevant. That's their whole philosophy. And you often see like, oh, we just appointed an oil company executive to be in the EPA. And they say, well, they're experts in the field. That's why we hired them. No, they're experts in the field because they're used to evading the regulations that were put on them. So have people from the industries that are supposed to be regulated leading the regulatory body. And their whole point is let's let these companies get away with whatever they want to get away with. That's the whole point. So this is insane. It's insane what we're doing now. I mean, it is. I mean, the anarcho-capitalists are basically getting exactly what they want. Just let the industry do whatever they want, and then fuck the consequences, and we'll pretend like there are no consequences, even though there are massive consequences. So it's great. We're rolling back the clock to fucking 1969 on clean water in this country because of a shitty government that's totally corrupt and bought by special interests and bought by big corporations. This shit has got to change. I mean, it's one thing. We have to fight to make new gains. That's a problem. But now we have to fight to even keep the bare minimum shit that we already had. Like the Clean Water Act. I mean, try to wrap your mind around that.